I'm Zachary Fowler, and you're watching 87 Days, the complete reenactment of all I did out on alone, but as if I did it here in Maine. With the resources we find here, what I'll do differently next time, and how I'm preparing for the future to defend my title of 87 Days Surviving Alone. And today, I'm excited because I got all the resources I've been harvesting for a couple weeks now, and we're gonna finish the winter shelter. So let's do it. There. All right. Phew, that took forever. To do all of this and cutting all of this, that really, there we go. Took a long time, but it had, like everything I do, it was useful, not just for this project, but I'm trying to clear the undergrowth on the rest of my property so I can turn it into what they call Sylvia pasture, so that it's like, put a picture here, so that underneath the larger trees you clear away the conifers and the small brush and things like that, and then you plant grass that grows well in shade, and it creates like a protected grazing land. It doesn't replenish as quickly as regular fields, but it's really neat, and it's really helpful, healthy for like animals to be underneath the trees and the canopy and stuff. So at some point I intend to have goats and stuff back up here again. But now I gotta cut the door, and then some roof joists, and then I can start bringing up all those reeds that I cut and start insulating the walls. And I got another special project in mind with the leftover reeds. I'm hoping I have enough to build a boat before winter here, and then store it away to use it maybe once or twice this year, but use it next spring and have some actual reed kayak boat adventures with it. So let's get to go on the roof poles here. All right, get to cut the door. I wove these all the way across and around to tie it in, because if I left the door opening all the way to the roof, that was a problem I had in Patagonia. I actually had to pull in my roof parts because it was trying to spring out. So I didn't put quite as much as I should have, and I made my door bigger for convenience, but that meant that I lost a lot of heat out my door, and in the end I found a really cool panel of wood that I turned into my door, and it was like a gangplank the way it came down and stuff. At night I could button it up, and I used my jacket out there in Patagonia, my rain gear, in the rain pants and the rain jacket as my door covering during the daytime, and then I had that big wooden slab that I burnt to thin it up so I could actually hoist it up and into place and button up even tighter. So this time I'm actually gonna make it just enough that I can duck my head under here and step through without tripping all the time. Wow, what a dream. This thing, in the right circumstances, this is killer, because out there in Patagonia, all I had was the multi-tool with that little teeny saw. So the bamboo hurdle wattle walls, which were double thick, meant, and my door opening was, you know, 4 feet or something like that, almost 5 feet, meant that I had to, it took forever. I think it probably one of my day's times was just getting tired, going at it, and do it again. Whew. But I didn't have much of a choice, and I still don't regret my saw decision, you know. If everything was little sticks, and that's all I worked with out, you know, somewhere like around here, this is the saw for it. But there, the firewood that kept me warm, if I didn't have that giant crosscut saw, it wouldn't have happened. All right, I'll see how that works for a little while. See if that, there, not so bad, yeah. I'm gonna leave it like that for a bit. So this is not a first contact with the wild sort of shelter. That's what that is. What we're building here is like a home. And kind of like I picture that kid in the book Hatched. You know, he crash lands, I read it when I was a kid, in like Alaska, and he's got a hatchet, and the whole thing is, that's all he has pretty much, I think, outside of some other things he scavenges from the plane to survive with. And you don't know how long you're going to be somewhere. You don't know if you can backpack out. All he knew is he was flying for a long time. I think it was birds that took the plane out, bush plane, and they crashed, and the pilot died. Maybe his stepdad was with him and he died. I'm not sure. And he basically, you know, as like a little kid, manages to survive, you know. And if you knew a lot, you know, and I was to crash somewhere, maybe, you know, feeling like I'm stuck there, that's the kind of shelter I think I would build. Or I'm staying there because I'm on a TV show and I'm supposed to stay there and survive longer than everybody else. And that's kind of where this idea formed, the hurdle wattle wall in my mind, becoming a basket-shaped shelter. And to do that though, because to lash off the roof, I want something that is going to be permanent, because I want to keep this up here for a long time and continue to improve on it. I want to do some like rocket stove radiant flooring in it. The more stuff that I learned too, and the other things that I've learned in the past from old books, I want to try these things out. I didn't manage to try out half of the stuff that I've learned over the years and thought up as like improvements on other things out on the TV show alone. I was only out there for 87 days. I didn't have enough time to play around with all those ideas and the resources. You know, the certain resources I had there, like I didn't have clay, you know. I have clay here in Maine. So I'd love to, I'm gonna experiment with that and play around with a lot more of that kind of stuff. But for lashing this together, I want it to last forever. So there's been two kinds of rope that I've used, or line that I've used over the years. This stuff, which is like a plastic line that you purchase for like mending lobster traps, mending nets and things like that. I buy it at Hamilton Marine, this store around here that sells boaty stuff. And this is great. I've used this to make like teepee outhouse at one point up here. Teepee poles that I, you know, rigged up to flip my vehicle over and make a medieval crane, and it's lasted for years. The wood rots away, everything else rots away before this stuff does. Sun doesn't bother it, doesn't get to it and cause it to break down and fall apart. before everything else rots around it. And then there's the bank line. I got some fine stuff here, and I think this is like 60-aught or something like that, or 60 gauge or whatever they call it. And this is what I'm going to use today. I like this stuff. It's a nylon tar coated basically. When you tie a knot to it, it's great. The knots don't come undone, they lock up. You don't have to tie like a ton of backers. Unlike with this green stuff, I always joke like if you don't know how to tie a knot, tie a lot. But it's not that. This stuff you literally have to tie 7 knots on top of each other just so, because the first 3 come undone as things shift and as time goes on. It's the nature of the plasticky stuff, kind of like paracord, which is obnoxious as all get out. I hate paracord. I'm gonna keep the pitch very high because it's very snowy here, and I'm not gonna be up here to rake the snow off every time it snows. So I wanna make sure that I keep it so it's self-cleaning it with the snow, because there can be up to 2, you know, we've even had like 3 feet of snow with drifts and all that. That should do it. Perfect stick, already the right length for a measurement. Make them a little extra long just in case. I'm just gonna cut 3 and set them up, lash them together the way you do a teepee, and then put them into place and lash them off, and then all the other sticks will get leaned up against there, and I can climb along the top of the wall and lash the bundle together. Just the same way you would a teepee roof. All right, so this is where it gets tricky. They're gonna be set up like teepee poles. So you gotta tie them together the right way, because if you don't tie together teepee poles the right way, they just start sliding, the knots start sliding past each other. You want it so when you tie it, you tie 2 and then 1 across. Then when you splay your tripod out, the lashing tightens up so your sticks don't shift and slide past each other. And I've built some extremely huge structures this way, like my 35-foot yurt goat barn greenhouse thing, you know, and it's still standing after 3 winters. I'm gonna tie these legs down here, 2 of them, and see if I can't spring it up into place. Aha! Woo! Look at that! That's way too high, but that I can just lash these onto the heights that I want them to be in the right spot. But that went up so much easier than I thought it would. I expected, I don't know what I expected, but they're a little on the heavy side. The pitch is, I'm gonna change the pitch, lower those down, lash them in place, and then it's all downhill from here. But the sun is going down. I'm like racing against time. I wanted to have it all up today. I got all the resources, but I'm too picky. I get carried away with all the details as I get going. It always takes me longer than I thought. Now hopefully I get this right, because I want to leave enough overhang that my tarp comes down and it gets over top of my reed walls. So that I want them to be built out at least 5 inches. So making sure I have enough overhang. I don't want to just dump the water right into the reeds on the wall. I like to keep a stick on me for helping with lashing. You could wrap it around it and really snug up on her. Always make sure you don't lash something and then you notice on the back side it was pinched there, and so you wiggle it and all of a sudden it comes, the whole thing is just loose. I think I got enough. I'm gonna keep bringing the rest of it over here, but I'm not gonna finish it today. So I guess this is a part 1 of 2 finishing the winter shelter. There's more than enough here to do the place. And maybe even thatch the roof. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments below. Do I thatch the roof or leave it tarp? If I don't thatch the roof, I'll do a kayak. What do you think? A boat or the roof? Leave in the comments below. So I'm so excited. This looks so awesome. It's getting dark. Sun's going down, gone down. So that's all for me. Thanks for watching. See you next time when we finish the shelter. Fowler out. Smile, 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 smile. I'm not completely crazy. The camera's voice activated. Smile, 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 smile. Completely dorky. That's what it takes to get a cover photo.